global trade war that could disrupt markets. Meanwhile, since Trump's tariff talk paired with deregulation, trillions in private investments have come to the U.S. For example, Apple, $500 billion in investments. SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, $500 billion. NVIDIA, hundreds of billions of dollars in investments. And then you have TCSM from Taiwan, Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly, Meta investing $500 billion. This has already created tens of thousands of new manufacturing jobs here. We've even seen the union, the UAW, support this, the new tariffs. Patrick Mueller, RFC, and president of Bella Advisors joins me now. There is a lot to digest here. The president just made this huge announcement, along with everything else. So your reaction to Trump's new reciprocal tariffs?
Yeah, happy Liberation Day, Alicia.
Yeah, likewise. What do you think? There's a lot. Just what's the main takeaway?
The main takeaway is the reciprocal taxes that Trump has been talking about for so long. He pretty much backed off on everything by 50%. So I think a lot of countries are breathing a big sigh of relief right now on what they thought was going to be coming down the road. And I think you're going to start seeing that in our stock markets as well. I mean, we saw the markets up pretty big today in anticipation of the reciprocal tariffs going into play, and backing off 50%. I think that's going to be huge for the markets moving forward, and it's not going to be near as of a big deal as people really think that it's going to be.
Give an example of that backing off 50%.
Sure. So, well, for the European Union, they're charging us 39%, and we're going to start charging them 20%. So pretty much, 50%. So we're going to be charging them half of what they're charging us. So I should have been a little bit clearer on that. And then you have Vietnam charging us 90%, and we're going to start charging them over 45%. So it's going to be a big move as far as income coming back into the country and bringing jobs back into the country. But as far as being 100% reciprocal of what these countries are charging us, they're getting a 50% discount right now. And so I think that's what I mean. You're going to start seeing a big relief there from other countries and from the stock market surge.
Wow. Okay. The president was being generous because he started off by saying what they do to us, we will do to them. But it sounds like we're giving them a bit of a break.
A huge break. If that's what they were expecting, that's a huge break. So it's got to be, it's still going to be a sting to them. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot of other countries. They're big and blustering right now. And I think we can start seeing them backing off. And I think you're going to start seeing them with these taxes, them backing down, because I think it's going to hurt them a good bit as far as what they're able to, to bring over here. And it's going to be great as far as companies like Honda building plants in the Midwest. And you've got lots of jobs starting to come back already to the U.S. And it's going to start making people buy U.S. But the 25% tariff on the automobiles, like that's sticking. So if you're going to buy that new convertible Porsche, make sure you do that now.
Buy American. What are you talking about? He also gave tax incentives to buy American as well. Tesla, made in America, FYI. There's still concern, though, about a trade war that could lead to higher prices. Like, maybe they hit back. He's not doing an exact reciprocal hit, but maybe it makes him angry enough where they hit back a little bit, and then that escalates. That'll, make for higher prices, reduce consumer spending, supply chain disruptions. Would this hurt? Some people say that this would hurt businesses both here and abroad. Also, investor confidence could drop, leading to market volatility. Are you concerned about any of this?
I'm not that concerned about it. I think if we do see any of that, it's going to be very short term. You'll see, companies that bluster and they start talking a big game. You had Canada who's like, oh, we're going to start charging you this and charging you that, but they need us way more than we need them. And it's just the same thing with Mexico. You saw that for a while. And I think that you're going to see these companies, start talking and maybe doing something reactionary, but then they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it way more than because we consume everything, right? We consume everything these guys are sending us, and especially like with India, and you were talking about steel, and it's so important that long term that it's nice to see a pro-America stance where we want to manufacture things here in the U.S. And just so you know, Alicia, I bought my wife a Bronco, so we kept it
Nice.
here in the U.S. We didn't go overseas.
Very good, very good. Okay, so Trump also said that this will lead to stronger competition and actually lower prices for consumers. So complete opposite of what the critics are saying. What's your take on that?
I think so. I think a lot of it's going to be the opposite of what the critics are going to think. You know, the critics are the critics, and it always ends up being the opposite. So you have, you know, a lot of the special interests that, you know, are thinking global and might be hurting a lot of big companies like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street and a lot of these big global companies that have a presence worldwide. But as far as American companies and what we can expect for prices here, it's just a pro move of buying here in America versus going overseas. And again, I think it's going to be, you know, other countries that are just going to end up getting hurt a lot more on the trade. And hopefully that helps them bring down these tariffs. Hopefully, like, okay, well, this is ridiculous. We've been taking advantage of you. We've been charging too much for too long, and start bringing down some of these tariffs that, you know, in a lot of these instances are crazy. You know, you have like Japan's got a 700% tariff on rice. So some of these things are a little ridiculous, but they got to protect themselves, but they need to compromise in other places.
Yeah, absolutely. And even President Trump said we're the money pot. We have the upper hand here. We also need to pay down our national debt so that we don't go bankrupt and lose everything. I mean, the goal is to help with that. And when I talk about losing everything, I'm talking about entitlements as well, like Social Security and Medicare. We don't want to lose that. So we need to pay down our debt. Will Trump's new reciprocal tariffs help or hurt with that?
Absolutely. That's going to start bringing billions of dollars back into the country to where we can start doing that. So with Doge coming in and starting to cut away the inefficiency and cutting away the fat and you know, with that, and then, I mean, just alone, you had, you know, what was it, you know, over 1 million people that were over the age of 100 that were, you know, taking Social Security benefits, and, you know, the SBA loans of, you know, kids that were 11 years old or under. And so getting away a lot of this stuff is going to help with a lot of that alone. But, you know, bringing money back into the country, I think is a big thing. Why we haven't been charging reciprocal tariffs to a lot of these countries. I mean, it just maybe shows you where a lot of our politicians and you know, people that are lining their pockets have been for a long time and selling out America. And it's glad to see somebody taking a pro-America stance for pro-America companies and you know, making fair trade or fairer trade. And it's nice to see that.
That's the whole promise, the campaign promise, make America prosperous again. The golden era, the golden age is here. We'll see how this plays out. Patrick Mueller, great insight as always, RFC and president of Bella Advisors. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.